When I open up the show, it's on the EMIY show. And welcome to the show where solutions really flow. You got it right now. Yes, you do. When you sneeze, say please. Welcome to EMIY. He put that funk in there, boy. I was about ready to go. Yes, funk. Y'all don't know nothing about that. Y'all babies like this tech music. But the funk got the bass in it. Got the funk. Give me that funk. Funky, gushy. Yeah. What? Give me that funk. So today, EMIY, we live. We got in a little technical issue. Dave, Heather, what's up? What's popping? How y'all doing?
Good, thank you. Hey,
good.
Dave.
Hey, Dave. Happy Halloween. Grassley.
Look who treat, I guess. Only get to treats.
All right. Trick or treat. Right. Either way you go, you're going to eat. It's Halloween. It's Halloween time. So today we're going to talk about legacy. What is in your dash? A legacy. What are you doing to fulfill your legacy? What are you building? 3 generations. I just saw a picture of my grandson in a panda outfit. Was the cutest thing. Man. Just the cutest. Like, you can't have nothing but just smile when you see this boy. Of course, he's a man, baby, so he's handsome, strong. He's got dimples, right? You know, he's a man's baby. One of them doggone man boys, another kid that makes my mother and father's grandchildren 375 of them. At least that's what it feels like. It's so many of them. But more importantly, we're going to get on with this show. And Heather, how you feeling?
I'm doing great. I'm feeling very orange today.
Yes. Navel or seedless?
I'm not going to answer that.
I know that's right, baby. We're not going to get personal on the podcast. We're going to keep it business. It's a cute self. Brother Dave?
Everything's lovely. God has given us his breath and strength today. The rest we can figure out.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. As long as you can still put on 2 shoes, a pair of pants, a shirt, a t-shirt, a hat, a jacket, or a blazer, you're winning.
Yeah, I'm good with standing bucket naked myself. I'm good.
Right. That means we ain't going nowhere. Right. I feel you.
Hey, long as I'm standing. I'll run with your shoes though, but
right. Right. So we want to talk about this legacy thing, right? Because one of the things that is not happening that we believe should be the talk of the town. We're just talking culturally. We have to get into a place where we are literally discussing, building, and extending legacy. As I shared this morning, legacy, son, they have to take your last name. We are put our boys in a position now where things are not where they're supposed to be. The men and the women are, right, who were being raised by their mothers, see things differently. But the legacy piece, it's on the man. It's in the man. It's in this man's name. Of course, everybody has a legacy that they can leave. Of course, that, Dave, of course, you can single and leave a legacy. There's nothing wrong with that. But we're talking about family and we're talking about solutions, and that's where I like to keep it. Boys, men, husbands, and fathers, and families. And so, Miss Heather?
Well, I have a couple of things that I want to bring to awareness. And the first one is what we mean when we're talking about the dash. And so you look at someone's obituary, when you look at the headstone, when you look at when a person has lived their life and they've left this space and made that transition, we're talking about what happened between the time of the date of their birth and the date of their death. And so that is the dash that we're speaking of. but there are other ways to interpret this. So I'm going to give you a couple meanings, and I'm going to start off with legacy. And so, of course, we know we can define it in many ways. I just want to use these as some tools to guide us in this conversation. So the first one for legacy is the amount of money that is left to someone. It is also something that is passed on. It's also called tradition. And our children and our loved ones are also our legacy. And so that's just kind of one way to look at it through this lens. And another meaning that I want you to leave here with today and consider. So I mentioned dash and looking at it as a symbol or the space between two periods of time. And so I also want you to consider these definitions for the dash. One is something of great force, something of a small quantity, and then the last one is something of substance. So that's another way to look at the dash that we were talking about, that is between the date of your birth and the date of your death. And so we're going to get into this conversation just to dig a little bit deeper, to have us look really at the quality of the life that we're living, how we're living this life, and who we're living it in front of. And also that even today, even as of today, if it is not what you want to see, then change it. And so you are empowered to change it. So I just want to make sure that we're on the same page, and we're going to take this journey together into this understanding. Also keeping at the back of your head and the back of your thoughts and in your reflections that it is something that you have control over. Okay?
Well, of course, we'd like to, really look at it in all those ways. Legacy, especially about what you're leaving culturally, financially, those types of things. We kind of sacrificed the dash. How do we, like you said, reshape, turn, redirect the dash, right? How do we make the legacy, right? So I look at my sons, right, and look at my daughter, look at the grandchildren, right? But how do we really the whole restoration of family and us getting back to a family mindset, I think, is very, very key. We have way too many it's about me's. And so how do we do that in this legacy piece that you're discussing? Dave, your definition of legacy would be?
It would be basically leaving something that will be able to live on after I'm gone.
Okay.
Something of wisdom, knowledge that my children would be able to utilize from this generation to the next generation. So,
Yes, setting a standard. So, Heather?
For me, my legacy, I am planning and living my life so that my legacy will live on, and that it will live on through other people discovering and uncovering their purpose, other people being inspired, other people finding their way and navigating through something that I have imparted to them.
Okay, so let's get into it. And it's your show, Heather.
Okay, so this first question I want to discuss for consideration, and not just from our perspective, but to kind of project that out, how other people may see it, so that we can kind of capture some other people's thoughts and ideas as well. And this could come from conversations that you've had. Everybody, I'm sure, has had this kind of conversation at one point or another. So I think we have enough reference points to be able to just kind of throw some ideas out. So the question is, what do you want to be remembered for? And the second part of that question is why. So what do you want to be remembered for?
I believe that I'm being remembered. My flowers are now. And my legacy is continuously in the work, the purpose. I know after time is, when my time is up, good fathers only will still be here. Encourage me, I'm young, will still be here. Painting the legacy of my kids and my grandkids, and some of that residue will still be here. So it's, for me, that's it. It's really the family and the mark that I leave on my family. I think that's important to me.
So this is what you want to be remembered for. You want
This
to be
is I
remembered
most definitely want to be remembered
for your family,
yeah,
for how you treated your family, how you engaged them.
and how I helped others.
Okay.
Those are the two things that I've done.
Okay, so why? Why do you want to be remembered for that?
I personally have changed. I've changed the direction for which I was left from my parents. It was important for me to knock off some things that was handed to me. And now just seeing the music piece coming back full circle in my son, seeing my daughter really be, a mom of concern and understanding that, seeing these things was important to me because that's where we had to change what was handed to us. And so that's why it was important to me. I wanted to change. With my parents setting the bar so high, I had to set it a different way. God used me to set it a different way. But look at where we are. We're in the family restoration. My family was the first part. My mom and dad was probably one of the first 100,000 divorces since the no-fault divorce in 1969. So of those divorces, right, our family was impacted. I've gone through some things. I've gone through divorce, but with my kids, I've protected to teach them a different way, right? Not to repeat what I have. So, and that's was important to me, to my legacy and everything. And just like with the Fathers and Good Fathers Only group, the reason for Good Fathers Only was really to bring fathers together so we could really, in like mind, to really make a difference across the board for families. So everything was about family restoration for me.
Okay, thank you. Dave, how about you? What do you want to be remembered for?
As an individual who's done everything from his heart. Uh, my journey has been pretty adventurous, as I would say. It's allowed me to move from one phase to another, as Calvin said, looking at my family and how they proceed to go through their journey. Now I too have changed the direction. Uh, I'm the first to actually get a full level
Right.
of a college education, to the maximum level. I'm the first to rephrase, not the first, the second to serve in the military, but the first to serve as many years and build a full career. I'm the first to actually have built $1 million company, and my even as a soldier. So there are a lot of firsts that I've done, and I believe I've set the example that everything I did it from the heart. I like the ideal of, you make income and what have you, but I always said when you provide a good service or a product, then the money would come. They're like wet and water, can't separate the two. So in conclusion, I would like to be remembered as a servant leader like Christ.
Okay. And then, so what would be your why? Why do you want to be remembered for those things?
Well, I think a lot of times we remember for a lot of accomplishments, but the biggest thing is that we were here to serve. That's what God's whole intention was. Christ said that I didn't come to serve, I didn't come to be served, but to serve and be a ransom for many. I think building a legacy where you recognize that you are a servant leader, which I've set the bar from my son. My daughter, unfortunately, is in a different position because of her special needs. But I think I set the bar for my son that whatever you do it as a servant. And because you do it as a servant, it continues to perpetuate more of the attitude that I give from the heart than I give for selfish gratification. So I think that's why it's important to me. If my son can continue, which I've seen him do, even when he was very, very young, I think that would be the difference that make a difference in his life, and he would influence others to do the same. We move away from me, myself, and I to being a person who cares about me.
Blessings. Thank you for that. So let's talk about. I know you all have had many, many conversations with other people, especially other men and fathers. So, what were some of the things that you heard? Like, why do you think, or what types of things have you talked to other men about that said that they want to be remembered in this way?
Well, it really is. Legacy is a hope factor. What I leave behind in hopes that I did, as they say, make a mark, as you said, as I've said, about leaving a mark, something here that someone else can learn from. So it's a hope. It's a really big hope factor. Men always want to leave a piece of them. And we could take that 1,000 ways, but men always want to leave a piece of themselves. People who want to be recognized and live on forever, or however you want, they want things in place. They want their names on the wall. People donate for their legacy. I mean, we saw a lot of that last night. People wanted to contribute for their legacy. What will your legacy be? Some people, as the Bible says, you live fast, you die young, right? We living fast and we die young, right? There's no patience, no growth, no understanding. Legacy comes with how your servitude and how long you existed. Was thinking about my Uncle Ellie, who just passed away at 98. His mama passed away at 99. My aunt's still 101 driving, right? My grandfather, so these are the things that was left. That church, my grandparents both of my grandfathers came together, built the church. That church is still in the family, it's still on Greenfield, right? That was their legacy. And to me, that's what, we're doing. When you find purpose, God has a way of you leaving your legacy, in my opinion.
Okay. Dave, have you had the conversation, and some of the men that you may have spoken to, what do you think that they want to be remembered for, especially being in the military, I can imagine?
Now, I would say, I've talked to a lot of men, and I guess if I brought it full circle to a conclusion, they always want to be remembered for being someone that left a positive influence in someone's life. From the deeds that they've done to how they live their life, how they focus on sacrifice, and that someone else will go forward and do the same. So, again, the positive influence.
All
right. So think about this. Think about those individuals, whether it's male or female. Think about those individuals who are living without the awareness of the legacy, without the awareness of the dash. What do we see?
Oh, survival, struggle, dependency, lack of knowledge, poverty, the mindset. Mindset matters. Not even having the example, which is why fatherhood is so important. Not having the example and understanding that fatherhood is both the problem and the solution. When he's absent, he's the problem. When he's present, he's the solution. Oh, that's dope. Mm-hmm. Put that together, right? Mm-hmm. Right? When the father is absent, right, he's a problem. When he's present, he's a solution. And in that process, what we find more and more and more, having this conversation even before we got in here, was a conversation where a brother was, talking to me. He was telling me about, the single household. And I said, listen, man, you can have that conversation because that's where you come from. It's going to make you feel a certain way. But the two-parent household is still dominating the scenario. No matter how you look at it and try to dress it up, the two-parent household is still winning. And what does the two-parent household do? It still produces healthy, viable children. Sure, you can point out and say, well, the two-parent household has messed up kids too. That's whataboutism. That's, I've seen it with my own eyes. Yeah, but you ain't seen this world. And still today, every statistic bears out that the two-parent household is still the dominant factor in child success. So with that being said, that's where the legacy piece comes into play. So that's what happens in that process when you don't have the right mindset or the right frame. You start doing things just for yourself, individual mindset. And next thing you know, you are by yourself, right? Because the individual mindset will keep you by yourself. In my opinion, you can argue it, but statistics point out, I think we own to something with this one.
Okay, Dave, any thoughts?
Yeah, I think what Calvin said is right on. And unfortunately, the Bible tells us being transformed by the renewing of our mind. And unfortunately, we sometimes stay in a kind of a stuck mentality, and we don't expand ourselves beyond the world's conditioning told us to do. Me, myself, and I. And the me, myself, and I usually is you end up by yourself. So family is important. Unfortunately, because we have a system that don't really, when it says it with words, it doesn't show it with action that family is important. So statistics do show that, family is significant. But then we got like the schizophrenic presentation. On one side, we said we want to support family. On the other side, we separated family. So that becomes a very intense battle. It puts people in a double bind, especially men. So we have to line ourselves up with a one mindset. How do we come together as one? And this starts very early on. Again, we have to continue to invest in family, invest in ourselves, so we can line up with that one mindset. Unfortunately, most of the time, people are not investing in themselves like they should. They're investing in external factors, but they're not investing in internal stability. And until they're able to stabilize themselves inside out, there'll always be that division.
Thank you. Thank you for that.
Right.
All right. So I just want to throw out a couple of things on this question about what do you want to be remembered for? So, and some of the things that I've heard, and some of the things that those of you who haven't thought about it yet might want to consider. The first one is, of course, relationships. The second one is the work that you do. The third is your purpose. Fourth is family. Fifth are some of those other reasons that may be really personal to you. And then six would be living life to its fullest. Things you want to be remembered for. Living life to its fullest.
Okay. You want me to add or pick one?
No, we're going to go to the next question.
Let's go for it.
Okay. The next one is, who do you want to remember you? And this is specific. Who do you want to remember you? So we already talked about family, but think about it in a more deep and more meaningful way. Who do you want to remember you? Somebody in particular.
Woo. Dave, I'll let you run with that one first.
Yeah, that's a loaded question,
It is.
But if I was to start right off the top, because he continues to carry my legacy, will be my son.
Okay.
And then why is it important for him to remember you?
Because he will carry the Patterson's name. Unless he flipped the script on me, he will be the one that if he marries, that name will continue. And if he don't marry, that name will continue. So I think that having him to recognize, and I would have to say without vanity, the reports I get back, not because of what I hear directly from him, but others who he speaks about me on, lets me know that all my investment in him, the reason I'm even here in Detroit was because of him. The reason that I think he is so important and will walk away with what I want to see continue is because of the fact that as he begins to grow and mature, and I saw this in a conversation we had yesterday, I can see that there's a continuum, and he'll be able to take it to the next level. I think every parent wants their child to take it to the next level, and I can see that my time spent, my investment in his education, my investment in spiritual development, my investment in emotional regulation and stability, my investment in teaching him knowledge and understanding, it started to come to fruition. And each year, as I always tell him, each year I see that he's changing to become the man God intended him to be. I can't get no better than that.
Yes, blessings. Thank you. Calvin, how about you take a try at that answer? And we're being specific. Who do you want to remember you?
Better make sure you say the right answer.
There's no judgment on the answer. No judgment. We already answered the first question, so we got the general answer. Now, who specifically do you want to remember you?
For me, it's my children.
That's not specific.
Oh, you want me to pick one?
You have to pick one specific individual.
For me, it would be Cam.
Okay.
If I had to pick, it would be Cameron, because Cameron got the seed of change. Before he was born, I realized who I was, whose I was, and what I was becoming. And I prayed and I asked for another son. And my son was born in 2004. And
Wow.
He's gifted. He's talented. He has the tools. We're constantly in conversation about change, responsibility, accountability, those things. He's 18, probably going on 24, 25. He's pretty kind of solid in his own position and mindset. He's a leader. And it's just about whenever he takes his next 2-3 man steps, the success that he would have, because he understands the hard work that's been taught. He understands his relationship with the Lord. He really understands how to govern himself. And he was the seed of change. That's when I decided that it was no more, it would be no more foolishness or anything on my DNA. And he has that mark. And so getting to see him just move and navigate as an adult is what I'm looking forward to seeing and hearing about it wherever I go. But more importantly, it would be Cam. The rest of my kids are in good positions, but Cam being 18, for sure, it would be him for me.
Okay, awesome. All right, and so the 3 things that most people, when they talk about who they want to remember them and why, tend to talk about love. They tend to talk about the change that they've experienced, and then the third thing that they tend to talk about is the touching the lives of others. So it's love, change, and touching the lives of others that tend to be. Right. All right. And so the next question is, what do you want to leave this life knowing that you finished is the first one, and then knowing what you've experienced, or that you've experienced what you set out to experience. So the first question, what do you want to leave this life knowing that you finished?
Ooh.
Something that you have finished. It is finished. What is that for you? Dave, you want to jump in while Talvin is taking his deep breath?
Yeah. What do I say it again? One more time.
It's, what do you want to leave this life knowing that you have finished?
I mean, that's, yeah.
I know that's a deep one.
Yeah, I guess I would say, there are a lot of maybe not the one superficial. There are a lot of things externally that I'd like to finish, again, wrapping up my education and building some other programs. But I think, again, the thing that I would like to really see and say I finished was helping my son become the best man he could be.
Okay.
I'm a little better off in Calvin's situation because I only got one son to deal with.
Right.
And I have my daughter, I don't have to, well, why'd you say that? Because young people don't
Right,
that.
right.
You
You don't have to take anybody some ice cream to smooth it over.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay, so that's what you would do for your son. Now, I want you to think more deeply and specifically to yourself. What do you want to finish? That's not necessarily inclusive of someone else. What do you want to finish?
Easy. I want to become the man God intended me to be. I'm on this journey, and my primary objective, and then it gets even more intense every day, and I've always got Satan popping up, is to decrease and me, myself, and I will all time, and that I become, as many people would say, godly man. I become truly one who lives up to those words. In order, as Paul would say, I finished the race. I finished the race trying to become what God intended me to be truly an image bearer of Christ.
Okay. Calvin?
Well, what I want to complete, 10 cities. I would like to complete the 10 cities, 100,000 boys a year. That goal that's been set, the Empowerment Center for sure, seeing my brothers or, things that I'd like to complete, helping my son complete his first album completely. For me, certificate, going back to school, and really, for
Going
me,
back to school for what specifically?
counseling.
Okay.
It would be counseling, and more important, traveling. Like, I'd like to say that I did go to Amsterdam, or I did go to London. I have went to Paris. I did go to Africa. Right? These are things that, for me, that I'd like to complete. That makes sense to me.
Okay, and so that leads into the second part of the question is, what do you want to leave here? What do you want to leave here? What experience do you want to leave here with? And you were saying the Paris or the travel to some specific places. So what are the specifics? Specific places. You said Amsterdam, Africa, Paris.
Paris, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You need more specific?
No, that's specific enough.
Okay, and so
so there are different countries that
right. And then there are things that I set out that putting building a school in Nima, Ghana, like Coach did, right? With them building another school. There are a lot of things I intend to accomplish. Experience. Those things that I intend to experience.
Yes.
So I'm just getting started. I'm a babe in the Lamb of Christ. I'm a baby. I'm just getting started.
Mm-hmm. Dave, how about you? What do you want to leave here having the experience that you wanted to have?
Dave, you ought to feel like you've been interviewed by Oprah.
What is the experience you want to leave this life having?
Oh, well, see, I see this is kind of crazy because fortunate enough for me, I set off to see the world. And the military allowed me to see the world. It's interesting, even when Calvin said Amsterdam, I've been there. And so, when I watch TV, I've either been there or been in that location, and all on the government's dime. I've met a lot of different ethnicities. I've experienced various things with different people and their lifestyle, their culture. So, again, the thing that probably I haven't accomplished, and this kind of sound really, really petty, I wanted to get a boat and I wanted to build my own house.
Okay.
Other than that, I've been really fortunate. I mean, I could sit down and talk to people all day long about all the adventures because I started off as an adventurer. And I told my father, I'll close on this. I told my father when I was 13, I said, Dad, there's got to be more than this. Then grow up, get a job, go to college, get married, have kids, have grandkids, go to Disney World, go down south, get old, and die. Mm-hmm. I knew it was something more than that. And I set out at 16 and a half to do just that. I didn't know how I was going to approach it. But the way God do business, when he set a plan for your life for you to prosper, he allowed me to see an awful lot. And so if I had to close out life today, heaven forbid, seeing and doing, I came short on that. So.
All right, blessings. All right, and so I know we're running out of time. So these are some of the answers that are typical amongst people. One, and this is, what do you want to leave knowing that you finished? 1, retirement. 2, finances. 3, your beliefs. 4, your travel. So those are the top 4. Retirement, finances, beliefs, travel. And then in terms of experiences, becoming a great-grandparent. The other ones were reaching age at least 100. And there was one more that was a popular answer. And, of course, the travel was another one for experience as well. And the last one is, where are your regrets and how can you correct or substitute them now?
Mm.
And you can be broad with this. You don't have to, just share your own. But just, where do people typically have regrets?
Where do you have your regrets?
And then how can you correct or substitute? So we're going to give others some ideas of what to do.
So, Dave, I'm going to jump on this one.
Good.
The only regret I had, I more than made up for. I wasn't the very best guided person in high school, and I regret the opportunity that I had within my grasp and didn't really focus. But after that, after 20, I took life on head on. And for years, when I got in my 30s, I had a little bit of regret. I no longer have regret because I have beautiful lessons and blessings from not being prepared at 16, 17, and 18, where at 50, 57, where I stand now, having to accomplish so much for others. And so for me, I left the regrets in the 30s,
Okay.
and I restructured the vision, the purpose of my life since then. And I am ecstatic about my young future. I don't see, I see further and further and further up the road, and I feel good about it. And I have to admit that, what I went through in the past really made me who I am today.
Absolutely. Thank you. Dave, how about you?
Yeah, we come to that same conclusion with Calvin. I have this idea that the past teaches me lessons to prepare and to operate in the present and to prepare for the future. I don't think that when I look back over my life that all the things I did well, did wrong, and things I shouldn't have, somewhere in between all that, I guess they all were life lessons to help me to understand who I am now. As the Bible would say about, I think it was Ruth, it said, for such a time as this, for all the gathering, all the people, all the challenges and all tribulations, it's helped me to be in this point at such a time as this. I think if I had to pick one regret, it would be the fact that some of my adventurous attitudes and ideals caused me to make decisions that was not effective in relationships. I'm kind of keep everything low profile, go along, get along, don't make no strife. As Calvin would always say, I don't have to apologize or excuse me, ask for permission. I'm a permission guy. Can I do this? Can I do that? And I think in that, it impacted the relationship that I wanted the most from a kid. I always had this fantasy of get married and have a white picket fence and kids. And I think because there were certain things I interpreted through the world I thought would be best at the time that my marriage just didn't work. However, I have learned going forward what to do for the future. I don't know if God has anybody for me in the future, but I'm cool with it when He does, and if He doesn't, I'll be cool with it. But that's
Right.
where I found my peace. I'm at peace one way or another. If the wind blows in my favor, great. If it don't blow in my favor, it's still great because I'm at peace with myself. But if I had a regret, that would be that if I had the knowledge I have today and put it back in the time before I got married, I think maybe I could have still been married. But that's
That's real.
All right. Well, thank you. So, the message that I want to leave with those who are listening now today and may listen to this message in the future, that the things that we believe are regrets, much like Calvin and Dave mentioned, are opportunities for life lessons. And again, you can adjust, you can correct, and you can substitute. You can move forward. And so it is not the end. It is a new beginning when you decide that you're going to take a different path and you're going to take a different route. And you're not going to allow the things that you learned to get to where you are today to be a hindrance to you and to help you and your legacy to be great and be greater. You have that opportunity to change your mind right now, and today. Your tomorrow can be different based on the choice that you made today to make it so. So please, if you're out there listening and you're feeling like you don't have anything of value that you're leaving behind, rethink that. And then again, you can self-correct and you can substitute. What do you want to leave behind? What do you want to be remembered for? These are very impactful questions that can shape your decisions from here and how you are seen or viewed, or how you how you can see yourself through a new lens.
Give people your how they can contact you.
I am Heather Hetteru, personal change coach and executive director of Encourage Me I'm Young, and you can reach me at yourinspiredjourney.com or by phone at 313-759-7855, or you can visit us at emmyworld.com.
Dave, where can they reach you at?
You can reach me at David FM Patterson at Facebook.com, as well as Jerome7, DEROME 7 at Yahoo.com, or by phone 608-343-0875.
Well, that brings us to another closing moment, but I really think it's time that we really pay attention and take a look at what this word legacy really means and how we have to approach it. Legacy has to become part of your goals, your life plans, your 1-year goal, your 4-year goals, your 10-year goals. You have to include legacy in the conversation right along with financial wealth and financial literacy. We must begin to have these conversations about what the legacy will be left, what you leave, because your conduct and your character paints a vision for your children and your grandchildren. I would hate for my grandchildren to become 16, 17 and found out was something other than the national encourager. And so therefore it was up to me, and it should be up to you and all of us, to paint better legacies for our children, our great grandchildren, our grandchildren, our children's children, so they can always reach back and tap into what you put down. My man said there's 400 million of us, and you happen to make it. You happen to be one of the people to get through. And so I just wanted to make sure that you understand that it is your legacy that you are in control of, in charge of, but you must change your mindset. Legacy is very important. And I feel the one that my parents left, I just built on that. And maybe that's just our job. My name is Calvin Mann. God bless you and encourage me. I'm young. Peace.